Guest has a clear message for Don Imus. Quit apologizing already. With us right now is Ann Coulter, author of, among many other bestsellers, Godless. What do you mean, Ann?
Well, I didn't actually say that. I just think he's apologizing to the wrong people. What I think people are missing about this story is what was wrong with what he said was that these girls aren't public figures. They're not putting themselves out there as beauty queens. If he had said the exact same thing, you know, if he had called me a straight-haired hoe, if he had called Al Sharpton the nappy-headed hoe, okay, fine, we're public figures, but these are basketball players. I think it's as mean as the things that were said about Linda Tripp and Paula Jones. It's just an unkind thing to do. He should have apologized directly to the team, sent them flowers, and dispensed with meeting with Al Sharpton and the Reverend Jackson. This isn't a racist comment. It was just a mean thing to say.
But it was a racist comment.
I don't think so. Why?
You don't think that terminology with a group of what, 17, 18, 19-year-olds is a racist comment?
Calling them hoes?
All right, well,
No.
Ann, you and I must be in separate universes here, but enough of that. Let me ask you this. Where did he go wrong apologizing too often? Where would you have cut the line?
I think he should have apologized directly to the girls and sent them flowers. Oh, and by the way, my friend Mickey Kaus has made the point that he ought to be getting credit for being the only person watching girls basketball. He put them on the map. But no, it's always unkind to attack a private figure. These girls didn't even write a letter to the New York Times. To be attacking them for their looks, like I say, it's like attacking the attacks on Paula Jones and Linda Tripp, which were pretty cruel and vicious.
All right, people are going to be hearing you right now, Ann, and saying, well, how is that different than Ann Coulter picking on 9/11 widows?
They put themselves out there.
How did they do that?
By going on every TV show under the sun, by cutting campaign commercials for John Kerry.
All right, so
I'm not sure why you're having trouble with that. These girls didn't even write a letter to the New York Times. They're not, you know, holding political positions, political office. They're not writing articles. They're playing basketball. They're not public figures. If he's commenting on how they play basketball as the only person who's watching women's basketball, that's one thing. But I think attacks on women's looks are inherently cruel, and especially someone like Paula Jones, like Linda Tripp, like these basketball players, you know, they're lovely people. They haven't put themselves out to be attacked for their looks. But the idea that this is some, you know, huge, we need to have meetings about it. He said something mean about non-public figures. He ought to apologize to them.
All right. So, by the way, the 9/11 widows were originally guilty of nothing more than just being widows, by the way.
Right, and I wouldn't have mentioned them if they had remained that, along with the thousands of widows who did not cut campaign commercials for Kerry.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about what happens to Don Imus going forward. You don't think this is necessarily a fireable offense, or how would you define it?
Well, I do love that this is happening to a liberal who would not defend any conservative speaker if the shoe were on the other foot. I think it's kind of funny that the suspension doesn't start until next Monday. If I got up that early, I'd listen to him this week to see what he is saying. It's a little odd, and what, you know, additional liberals will appear on his show this week. But I don't know what's going to happen.
Well, that's a very good point, then. What if it was a super conservative who made that remark? If a Rush Limbaugh had made that exact remark, what do you think would have been the fallout for him?
You wouldn't have Don Imus defending him. And I don't think Rush Limbaugh would make that remark. It's one thing to comment. I mean, I don't know anything about football, but that Donovan McNabb comment, I mean, that was about how the media reports on Donovan McNabb, I think that's his name, on his football playing. Like I say, he's putting himself out there for that. These are limited purpose public figures. I mean, that's how it would be described under the law, though this isn't a legal issue. It's just an issue of whether it was mean or not. It's mean because these are not public figures. If he had called me a hoe, that would be fine. It might be funny. If he had called Al Sharpton a hoe, that might be funny. But these girls didn't do anything to deserve that, to be attacking them.
So let me ask you this. If going forward right now, Imus has to change his show a little bit, and he has a lot of movers and shakers and media lead and the like who come on his show regularly. Is that going to have to change? And by nature of those people who go on the show, and Sharpton was asked at this very question whether he would target such guests in the future, what do they do?
Yeah, but they'll probably still go on. They're liberals. They can do anything.
Okay. Ann Coulter, thank you very much.